I started thinking about writing sonnets for my father. I was actually in China. I was doing a short residency, and I was doing a residency alongside a Mexican poet who had done a series of sonnets, sorry, a crown of sonnets for her grandfather. And I was thinking that would be a great form to use for to write about my father. So I started writing them in very strict form because I love the sonnet, I love the form, and I've taught it for many years. So I thought, I'm going to write a crown of sonnets in a very formal, iambic pentameter in the classic form. And then I'm going to see how it develops, and then I might change a few things, but I'm going to stick to the form. And I started. And then later on, as I kept going, I realized that my father's voice was coming through in the poems, and he was telling me, "You can't put me into this straitjacket. You got to make it a little bit more like me, like how I spoke." So I kind of changed them, and they became a different kind of sonnet. But the sonnet is an argument. The sonnet is an argument, and you open up the sonnet with a suggestion, and then you turn and you come to a conclusion towards the end. And I wanted to do that because a lot of this was interrogating my own memory of my father. It was an interrogation of him, even though he wasn't there. It was, asking him, why were you not a great father? Why weren't you there? Why did you, do whatever you did? So this was the perfect form for me to engage in this sort of dialogue with him. And of course, the sonnet, for me, the greatest sonnets that have moved me have been about love. And in a lot of ways, I was finding the capacity to love my father in the form, because the form forces you to confront yourself and your own emotions. And I found that I loved my father, even though he was not a great dad. So yeah, it's about the capacity to love. I think the sonnet challenges your capacity to love. The photographs are there because I don't have much of my father. My father wasn't present in my life growing up. He wasn't around very intermittently. So all I have are fragments of memory of him and photographs. That's all I have. I don't have sort of expanses of time where he's around and we're interacting and doing stuff together. I have glimpses, snapshots, fragments of him. And I wanted to put everything I had into this book. I wanted to put all the fragments that I could remember and all the photos that were good enough to go into a book, And in a way, the book is kind of taking the place of my dad, or making my dad a permanent thing that he was never, and the book makes him permanent for me. So I could look at the book and think, yeah, my dad is in here. I have him contained in a space, including how he looks, the way he speaks, and my memories of him. A biography, any kind of biography, is only a beginning. Is only a beginning. It's never going to tell the whole story of anyone, But being a Caribbean writer, there's an added element of a loss of history. A lot of the lives of Caribbean people are lost. A lot of normal, regular, so-called regular folks, their lives are lost too. But in the Caribbean, we have this added thing of colonialism and slavery that took away a lot of our past and identity. So in a way, the poets and the writers become biographers and historians. And, even so, I think it's right that, a biography can begin to tell a story, but the rest of the story is lost, and it's still lost, but people can fill it in depending on how much fragments you can put into a thing. People could fill in the blanks and sort of imagine what someone was like. So yeah, no one's going to know exactly what my dad is from this or who he was, but they will get enough of a sense of his character, I hope, and begin to fill in the blanks. And it's the same with, interactions in the normal world, in the day-to-day world. We never know everyone to 100%. We only know elements of people. So I think it's the same with a book. You glean a little bit about someone and you imagine the rest. I've been writing a long time, since I was 11 years old, so a long time ago. Never thinking in the sort of early years of development that I was writing for anything approaching a big prize. I was just writing poetry. And then eventually, as your career develops, you begin to sort of get shortlisted and things like that. And this is definitely the culmination of all of that. It's a culmination of a career. It's not the end of the career, but it's a culmination. It's a point where I think, okay, yeah, I'm okay. I know what I'm doing, and other people are recognizing what I'm doing as well. So yeah, it's vindication in a lot of ways. Yeah, but yeah, extremely cool, beyond cool.